Finding chord progressions of songs by ear is one of the most challenging tasks most beginners face when starting out on the piano. Based on my research and personal experience of playing the piano, I'll be sharing with you 5 steps I would follow if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself, and I strongly recommend you to also follow these steps, and over time you will see significant results. So these are the 5 steps I would follow if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself. Okay, so you can see that on screen, but actually I won't be revealing the step now. We're going to see that along as we proceed in the video. I would strongly recommend you follow and pay attention to all these steps, because you never can tell which of them would actually help solve your problem of finding chord progressions. Now, the first step or guideline I would follow if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself, which I also recommend you should follow, is to get familiar with common chord progressions. Now, in case you don't know, common chord progression is one single chord progression that is used or can be found in many songs you listen to. So let's say in every 100 songs you listen to, about 70% of them will use one or more of these common chord progressions. We have various examples of common chord progressions like the 6-4-1-5, 1-5-6-4, 1-5-2-4, and many more. That is to say, each of these chord progressions have a specific way they sound, and the goal is for us to train our ears to recognize how each of them sounds. Okay, so for example, this is how the 6-4-1-5 chord progression sounds. Okay, you can see how that sounds. So you will see that it's actually different from this next chord progression I'm going to play. This is how the 1-4-6-5 chord progression sounds. You can see that. Okay. Again, look at how the 1-5-2-4 chord progression sounds. You can see that. Okay. You can see it's different from the last two we played. So that is just the point I'm trying to raise. Each of these chord progressions have a specific way they sound, that is harmonical. So the goal is for us to train our ears to recognize how each of these chord progressions sounds, so that we can be able to detect it in any new song we come across. Okay, that is to say, we can actually hear each of these chord progressions in any new song we come across. And if that is true, that is to say, we can actually predict, or we can actually get the chord progression of that new song we come across. So let's do a very, very brief and interesting example. We are going to do it together so that you understand what I'm saying better. Okay, so I'm going to play a song. Actually, this is I'm Trading My Sorrows by Women of Faith. It's actually a gospel song. So this is not just only restricted to gospel. Don't mind the fact I'm just using gospel. You can see apply it to any genre of music. Okay, so I'm going to play this song, and you are going to tell me the chord progression of this song based on the sounds you just heard now. Okay, so you can actually rewind the video. You can actually forward it back to those places where I played those chord progressions, because it's going to be one of them. Okay, so I'm going to play a song, and this song have a particular chord progression. So what you are going to do is to tell me the chord progression of this song, okay, based on those previous chord progression I just played. So we're going to do it together. After playing it, I'm going to actually tell you the chord progression, and with that you'll be able to understand this better. So here's how the song goes. I'm trading my sorrows, I'm trading my shame, oh, I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. Okay, I'm trading my sickness, I'm trading my shame, oh, I'm laying them down for the joy of the Lord. Okay, so can you hear a particular pattern of chord progression that keep repeating itself in this song? Okay, you can actually rewind the video to those previous parts where I gave you examples of how those chord progressions sound, because it's actually one of them. So if your answer was 1-4-6-5, you're actually correct, because this chord progression uses the 1-4-6-5 chord progression. So just recall, this is how the 1-4-6-5 chord progression sounds. Okay, see, and you actually hear the same pattern in this same song. That is, I'm trading my sorrows, I'm trading my shame, You can see that the same sound. Okay, so this is the strategy I use, and that's helped me, and I believe it could also help you. Okay, so when you get yourself familiar with all these common chord progressions, it becomes a very good leverage for you to play many songs, because they are used in many, like so many songs. Okay, when you can be able to detect how each of them sound, it becomes easy to actually find the chord progression of any new song you encounter, as far as they use one of them. Now, before we move to the second tip or guideline, in case you don't know, I have a full series to guide you on common chord progressions in case you are new to it. So feel free to check the description box below for the link to it after watching this video. Although we were a bit centered on gospel, the same principle still applies to most genres of music. Now, another very important tip: although learning common chord progression will help you find the chord progression of many new songs you listen to easily, this doesn't mean that every single song you listen to use common chord progressions. Note that. As always, there will always be exemptions, and some few songs don't actually fit into one of these progressions. And this brings me to the second tip, which I feel is the most important step to help you find the chord progressions of songs yourself. So the second tip or guideline I would follow if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself, which I also recommend you do, is to train my ears to recognize the 7 diatonic chords of a particular key or scale. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you how to do this. So before we even start with this, what do we mean by diatonic chords, in case you don't know? Diatonic chords is simply the chords built on the 7 tones of a particular scale. So let me pick one of the most simplest key, that is key C. So this is the major scale of key C. Okay, so each of these tones have a corresponding chord to it. That is, this is the first chord in key C, this is the second chord in key C, this is the third chord in key C, this is the fourth chord, this is the fifth chord, this is the sixth chord, the seventh chord, and back to the first chord. Okay, so the same principle also applies to any key. I'm not here to just tell you to go train your ears, because the big question would be, how do I train my ears to recognize these diatonic chords? Now, just before guiding you on the exercise, the reason why I'm telling you to train your ears to recognize these diatonic chords is because, take a look at these charts. In music, every song you listen to is made up of a particular chord progression, which could be among the common chord progressions, okay, that constitutes that song. Now, these chord progressions are made up of chords, okay, series of chords that come together to form that particular chord progression. Now, these chords in turn are 95% of the time picked from the 7 diatonic chords of a particular key. Can you see this? Now, this clearly shows, and is very obvious, that one of the greatest secrets to finding chord progressions of songs by oneself is by recognizing the diatonic chords of a particular scale by ear. And I'll teach you how to do this now. So a simple exercise you can use to train your ears is what I call the 2-chord sound exercise. Now, I will not dive too deep into this exercise to avoid making this video too long. I will just give you a little glimpse of what it's like, then I'll make a separate video in future where I will dive fully into this. So for each round of the exercise, 2 chords will be played. The first chord will always be kept constant as the tonic chord or the first diatonic chord, also known as the Do chord. And the second chord played could be any one of the 7 diatonic chords of the major scale. The idea here is to recognize how each of these diatonic chords sound by ear relative to the tonic chord, also known as the chord 1. If you don't still understand, don't worry, I promise you this is going to make sense. So let's treat an example so that you're going to see how it actually works. We are going to go for 3 rounds, and at the second part, that is the second chord that is going to be played for each of the rounds. For the first round, we're going to fit in the 4th chord in the second part, which is also known as the Fa. For the second round, we're going to fit in the 7th chord in the second part, which is also known as T, okay? And for the 3rd round, we're going to fit in the 3rd chord, also known as the Mi, in the second part of the 2 chords played. Now, I want you to pay attention to how each of these chords sound relative to the first chord in all these 3 rounds, and that is actually the goal of this exercise. You'll notice the slight difference in their sound, that is in terms of relative pitch to the first chord. I just picked these 3 chords out of the 7 diatonic chords, but the goal is actually to repeat this exercise for all the 7 diatonic chords on your own. So here's how the exercise goes. Now for the first round, notice how the fourth chord sounds relative to the first chord. You can see the difference. Again. Okay, now for the second round, notice how the seventh chord sounds. You can see that. Again. Now notice how the third chord sounds. Again. So you can actually see there's a difference between the fourth chord, that is the seventh chord. You can see how this sound, and the third chord. So each of these three chords we just played now have different sound relative to the first chord, and that's actually the goal of this exercise. When you keep doing this over time, your ears begin to recognize how, in terms of pitch, how each of these diatonic chords sound relative to the first chord. The same principle applies to any key, irrespective of the key you are in. It sounds the same way, okay? So when you can train your ears to actually recognize each of these 7 diatonic chords, it becomes easy to actually detect the chord progression of a song you encounter. Because the individual chords in every chord progression of a song are 95% of the time picked from one or more of these 7 diatonic chords. Yes, it might be a little bit challenging to beginners, but don't worry, if you keep practicing with this exercise over time, you'll be able to recognize the diatonic chords by ear. The next principle or strategy I'm going to use if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself, which I recommend you do, is matching chords to melody rule, okay? That is using the matching chords to melody rule. So this will mostly work best if you already have some sort of knowledge of how to derive the melody of a song on the piano, okay? But I still believe, irrespective of your level, it should still be helpful to you. So the idea behind this rule is that if we are to find the chord progression of a song using its melody, okay, we are to find chords that contain melody landing points in the melody of that song, okay? So just get the concept very well. We are to find chords that contain melody landing points in the melody of the song, okay? So we're going to do an example together and you're going to understand these concepts better, okay? So we're going to be in the key of C. This is the scale, okay? That's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and do, okay? So, and remember, it's diatonic chords 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? Back to 1, okay? So, we're going to be using the song Bless the Lord, O my soul, okay? But the same principle still applies to any song, okay? It still works the same way, okay? So, here's the melody. Bless the Lord, okay? Oh my soul. Oh my soul. You see that, okay? So that's the melody of the song. So remember, we are to get the melody landing point in this melody I just played now, okay? So what do you mean by melody landing point? Melody landing point are simply points in the melody where there's a kind of break, okay? That's, we kind of pause a while before we continue the next line of the melody. So this is what I mean. So look at this song. So okay, so watch this. Bless the Lord. You see? So this is one melody landing point. Bless the Lord, which is La, okay? Let's use soft notation so that's a bit more easier, which is La, okay? Or key A. So this is one melody landing point in this song. Let's see another one. Oh my soul. This is another one, which is key E, okay? That is Mi, okay? Another one, Oh, which is Re, okay? Oh my soul. This is another one again, La, okay? So that's just the concept. Melody landing points are just the points in the melody of a song where there's a kind of pause or break, okay? So the idea here is now that in each of these melody landing points, we are going to find chords among these 7 diatonic chords of the key we are in. So in this case, we're in the key of C, okay? So these are the diatonic chords. That is this 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1, okay? So we are to find which among these 7 chords contain each of those melody landing points in the melody of the song, okay? So don't worry, this is going to make sense. So let's start. So just note that most times most songs start from the chord 1, okay? So we should just keep that at the back of your mind. Most times most songs start from the chord 1, which is the tonic chord of the key, okay? So let's do this together. Let's identify the melody landing points in this song, and we'll use that to get the chord progression of the song. Okay, so the first one was Bless the Lord, okay? which is key A, or the La, okay? That is La. So this is one. The second one is oh my soul, which is Mi, okay? So this is the second melody landing point. The third one is oh, okay, which is Re, okay? Oh my soul, which is La, okay? So we've gotten how many melody landing points now? The first one was La, the second one was Mi, the third one was Re, and this fourth one was La, okay? So now this is the first step. Now the next step is now to find chords among these 7 chords that contain each of these melody landing points, okay? And that's the method we're going to use to find the chord progression of this song. So the first one, which is La, so which chord among the 7 diatonic chords of the key of C contain this melody landing point, okay? So the first chord that contain this, let's do the experiment together. That is 1 2 3 4 5 6. A minor chord contain La. There is it, okay? So that means this chord is among the possible chord we can use at this particular point in the song, okay? So let's see if there's any other chord that contain this. Let's try the fourth chord, 1 2 3 4, which is the F major chord, okay? Fa. This also contains these notes. Look at the notes. A, also found in this chord. So this chord is another possible chord we can use at this point. Let's try another option, the chord 2. So the chord 2, look at this. This contains A. That means you can use this, okay? Let's try the chord 7 and see. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Look at the chord 7. The chord 7 do not contain A. You won't find key A, which is the La. You won't find it in this chord. So this chord is not part of what we're going to be even focusing on, okay? So that's just the concept. So now, in situation whereby you have many chords that contain that particular melody landing point, what you're going to notice is that there will always be one that will be the most suitable, that will work best. It's just based on what you want, your taste, okay? So let's do the experiment together. So let's try this. Let's try the 6th chord. Bless the Lord. This is not actually giving me the sound I want at this particular point, so I don't think I will go with this. Bless the Lord. Let's try the 4th chord. Bless the Lord. Wow, I think this works best. Sound nice. Let's try the second chord. Bless the Lord. So to my own taste and what I prefer and what I feel work best harmonically is actually the 4th chord, which is bless the Lord. Okay, so we've gotten one chord in the chord progression of the song, which is our 4th chord. Okay, so now let's continue. So after this, the next melody landing point is oh my soul, which is Mi. Okay, so which chord among the 7 diatonic chords contain these notes? Let's do the experiments. Look at the 3rd chord, which is 1 2 3. So this 3rd chord contains Mi. Okay, look at it. So this chord is among the options of chord we can use at this point. Okay, let's try the 4th chord. The 4th chord also contains this. That means we can also use the 1st chord. So, but which of them will be the most suitable? So, based on my taste and what I want, I think the 1st chord will be the best. But let's experiment it together. So let's start again from the beginning. So, press the, okay, Lord. This is the 4th chord. Oh my soul. This is the 3rd chord. It's not bad. It actually still works. So recall again. Bless the Lord. This works. Oh my soul. It's actually good. But let's see how the 1st chord will sound if we use the 1st chord instead of the 3rd chord at this point. So again, bless the 4. Oh my soul. This is 1. So I think based on my ears and what I'm actually hearing, the 1st chord work best than this, okay? But it just depends on what you want, okay? But just know that it's going to be one of these chords. So let's go with the 1st chord, okay? So we found 2 chords that constitute the chord progression of this song. So the first one was the 1st chord, okay? Because it contains this, our 1st melody landing point. And the second one was this 1st chord because it contains the 2nd melody landing point, okay? So let's proceed. Oh, this is the next melody landing point, which is our Re. So which chord contain it? Let's just go directly. Let's see the 5th chord. 1 2 3 4 5. The 5th chord contain this, you see. this note which is re is found in this fifth chord, so that means this chord can also work, and I think this is going to be the best. So let's do the experiments again from beginning. Let's the 4, oh my, back to 1, okay, let's go to 5, oh wow, very nice, it works. So you can see we've gotten 3 chords again that constitute the chord progression of this song. So let's proceed. Oh my soul, this is the next melody landing point again, which is La. So remember, we've done La before and we actually chose what, the 4th chord, but let's see if the 4th chord will sound good at this part. So let's start again from the beginning. Let's the 4, oh my, back to 1, okay, 5, oh my. So okay, to my ear I don't think it works best, okay. So oh my, so you can still go with it, but I think the 6th chord will work more better at this particular point. Remember, at the first point the 4th chord work best, but now it's the 6th chord I'm going to pick. So that's just the concept. So let's see how the 6th chord will sound. Praise the Lord, 4th chord, oh my, back to 1, oh my, this is the 6th chord, you can see. So that's just the concept. I just hope you get the concept. Just the first thing to do is get the melody of the song, identify melody landing points in the flow of the song, then find chords out of these 7 diatonic chords that contain those melody landing points. In situation where you have multiple chords or multiple options, there will always be one that will work best. So you can experiment this, and when you keep doing this over time, you get more better. The next strategy I will utilize to find the chord progression of a song myself, which I also suggest you should try out, is actually called the trial and error method. I would strongly recommend you use this method during your personal rehearsals or practice, okay, and not actually during live events. The first step that you should take with regards to this trial and error method is actually to first try to identify the key of the song you want to identify the chord progression of, okay. Try to find the key of that song, okay. So let's say for instance we identify the key to be C. So let's pick C because actually the most simplest key for beginners to understand. So this is the scale of key C, that is. Okay, so recognize the key of that particular song. So the next thing is now to recognize the diatonic chord, okay, that is the 7 diatonic chords in that key. So in the key of C it is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si and Do, okay. So that's the second step to do with regards to this trial and error method. The third step, which is actually the main part, okay, so this is actually now where you kind of do a kind of rough guessing, okay, among the 7 diatonic chords, okay, to find which of the 7 diatonic chords will sound best, okay, at each successive chord point in a song, okay. So I just hope you get the idea of this whole thing. It's just all about kind of experimenting different chords among the 7 diatonic chords to know which of them kind of suits your taste, okay. Remember, music is actually a combination of sound that is pleasing to the ear, okay. So whatever is actually, if that is actually true, then whatever is pleasing to our ear should actually be good, okay, hence the right chord. I know this might have some little flaws to it, but I'm sure it could also still go a long way to help you find the chord progression of a song yourself. The last step or strategy I will use if I'm to find the chord progression of a song myself is that I will develop the habit of actually listening to music regularly. So I feel that this is actually the most fun or easiest way to actually train your ears to recognize chord progressions of songs. So remember, music is all about repetition most times. So most of the time you actually listen to some couple of songs that use the same chord progression. You listen to some couple of songs that use similar things across different songs, okay. So when you keep listening to music more regularly or more often, you actually recognize trends or patterns of chord progressions that are used in various songs, and this trend or pattern of chord progression can also help you predict the chord progression of any new song you encounter in future. So the last takeaway I have for you here is actually to just keep keep practicing. It actually won't happen overnight. It's going to take some little time to develop the skill, but it's actually going to be worth it at the end, okay. So it's just all about persistence, consistent in your practice, and it actually takes experience and time, okay, to actually develop the skill. But if you follow the steps I'm very, very sure that it's going to also help you, because it actually helped me. So it should definitely help you to find the chord progression of songs faster by yourself. Okay?